I've had many collections over the years, but many of those are no more. Along with bad purchasing habits on movies I didn't even know I had after years. Now I'm older and wiser. I have a small start-off collection that I truly love, that I can pop on whenever, wherever. So why not hit that like button and let's get into my new/old movie collection. So first off, we're going to start off with, let's get it out the way, the DVDs of the collection. So first off here, we've got an amazing classic BT, British TV series, Fawlty Towers. Now, John Cleese as Basil is just top-notch stuff. I can really imagine that this is actually how John Cleese just was, basically. I mean, it's just too good to be acting. This is just a pure classic, and if you haven't seen it, whether you're from Britain or not from Britain, I couldn't recommend this enough. This is a one you can really just truly go back and watch this so many times, which I will be doing very soon. And Jason, if you're watching this, come on, I want to know what you think. I do hope you like it. Let me know. Next up, one that probably a bit of a cult classic here with Jack Black and Kyle Gass is Tenacious D. It's a little bit dirty. I haven't really watched it all too much, but it is a fun time if you're into especially rock and roll music. It's crazy, it's wacky. That is two words that describe it. Spot on. And yeah, some amazing music, worth a watch. I'll be popping it on very soon. Another amazing TV series from a British star comic, Peter Kay, alongside Paddy McGuinness. From his two characters from Phoenix Nights, we have Max and Paddy, The Road to Nowhere. I loved this series growing up. I've watched it so many times. There's so many countless amazing just moments throughout the show that just make you laugh out loud. This is amazing stuff, and again, I've just watched it actually somewhat recently, and I will be revisiting it again. Again, we've got some British stuff here. So coming from Ricky Gervais, The Invention of Lying. This is really quite hilarious. If you haven't seen it, it's well worth, I don't know about buying it perhaps if you don't have it already, but if it's streaming anywhere, highly recommend it. He's basically someone who everybody in this universe tells the truth. They cannot lie. But Ricky Gervais, playing Mark, is actually the one man on earth who can lie. And well, it takes him down some interesting paths, and it's really quite a funny watch. Another classic, not all too much can be said on this, but Footloose, coming from Kevin Bacon, when he just breaks out in that dance in the warehouse, it's amazing stuff. Footloose, amazing. I'm quite a big fan of musicals, and Chicago is potentially right up there. I love the aesthetic and the style. Richard Gere, Renee Zellweger, Catherine Zeta-Jones, all standout performances, and yeah, I love the glitz and the glam of it all. Really, really fun musical. Christmas classic, we've got The Muppets Christmas Carol. Again, I loved The Muppets growing up. Probably more so, just I guess stereotypical, it would be Kermit the Frog. Michael Keaton stealing the show here as Scrooge. And yeah, it's just a really fun time watch. Again, I actually haven't watched this for quite a few years, to be honest. If you can tell, it's a little bit, again, dirty. Not dirty, just a bit dusty. It's been sitting about. But yeah, I think this Christmas, I'm going to definitely pop it on. That's the good stuff with physical media. I mean, it's probably on Disney Plus, but we don't discuss that. Another Christmas film. You're going to see a couple of Christmas films here. We've got The Santa Claus 1 and 2. Again, Tim Allen, born to play this role. It's such a beautiful, feel-good Christmas movie, but yet also funny. I'm sure many people have seen Santa Claus 1 and 2. If you haven't, what are you doing with your life? Probably a lot, to be fair, but definitely worth checking out. Now, this DVD is a little bit bad. I don't know if I bought it like this. I really hope not. But Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor. Gene Wilder playing a deaf man and Richard Pryor a blind man. And well, they end up getting accused of some murder. And again, how the blind and the deaf come into play. I mean, this movie is so funny. And I may just pop it on today, actually. Really fun watch. A movie I do have a review on for Christmas time or hell any time, Jingle All the Way, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, this movie doesn't get any love in my opinion, or definitely not enough love. This is amazing how people don't enjoy this film. It's such a good message throughout the film and it's just a really fun time. The acting, it's incredibly cheesy. I'm not going to try and justify that, but it's such a fun time at Christmas, and the one every single year that is going to be put on. And one thing I'll be mentioning in an upcoming video is, yes, I've got Jingle All the Way on DVD. I just like that it takes us back. It adds to the nostalgia, the look that it brings. So wait for that video. The absolute classic that I will have to skip on, because if I get into it, I'll be on here for 15 minutes talking about my love for this film, Roadhouse. There's been a sequel. There's going to be a sequel to the sequel remake. This is the classic. This is the one to watch. The absolute legend, Patrick Swayze. That's all that needs to be said. An amazing 80s classic. This is in here for some reason. It's a video game. You can't watch this, and I really wouldn't recommend playing it either. Duke Nukem Forever. Duke Nukem games, really amazing back in the day, but this, oh my god, it was in development hell and it really should have stayed there. So next up, we're going to our Blu-rays. There's a little bit more Blu-rays, so bear with us here. There's quite a few. So next, we've got Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. This was my first introduction to the Mission Impossible movies, and I was blown away. Tom Cruise, I mean, even at the age that he was at this film, just mind-blowing stuff with him doing their own stunts, and he actually does the climb of the Burj Khalifa, I believe in Dubai. I mean, it's just crazy. I do personally love like the behind the scenes of movies. I do get it can kind of ruin it a little bit, but man, you've got to watch how he done that scene. Really impressive. Next up here, we have Lethal Weapon with Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. An absolute classic buddy cop movie, and basically what every new buddy cop movie gets compared to. Rightfully so. Next up, we've got the Sherlock Holmes movies from Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law, directed by Guy Ritchie. Very hit and miss, but in my opinion, these two movies are actually really a good, fun watch. One little surprising gripe that I have with these movies is the slow-mo action. It's something that would be done by Zack Snyder, and that's really unfortunately not a compliment. But yeah, apart from that, it looks pretty good. The story, if you like a little bit of crime mystery, I really do recommend these. They're surprising from Guy Ritchie. Next, we'll have a little surprising animation that I don't think was all too big, but Open Season. It's a fun enough time. I really wouldn't recommend rushing out to buy it. I got it on Blu-ray because, well, I think it was like £1 in CEX, the second-hand shop. Well worth it. Again, one I haven't watched in quite some time, but hey, I'm happy to own this, and if ever I'm bored and just want a little bit of a giggle, Open Season will be put on. I mean, Toy Story was my childhood growing up, and I mean, this movie in the pictures, look, I am not ashamed to say I shed a tear at the end of this film. I mean, this was like just my childhood all just coming to an end, finalising, and oh man, when Woody says, "So long, partner." Oh, so many memories here, and I need the other Toy Stories. For some reason, I don't have them yet, but they will be getting picked up very soon. Yeah, we have Run, Fat Boy, Run with Simon Pegg. Again, another really fun movie on a premise that you would think could be potentially incredibly boring. But thanks to the amazing cast, Simon Pegg, Thandie Newton, Hank Azaria, really fun time. A lot of laugh out loud moments. He's basically running a marathon to try and win his ex-girlfriend back after leaving her at the altar. Doesn't sound great, but I assure you, if you want to laugh, Run Fat Boy Run is for you. Another comedy, much the same, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Russell Brand, I wouldn't say I hated, that's a little bit of a strong word, but I very much disliked him, especially at this time. But he surprised us with this movie, and he played the role very well of this new boyfriend character. And yeah, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, it's another fun watch. Talladega Nights, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. These two are phenomenal together. Step Brothers, one of my favourite comedies of all time. And now Talladega Nights is definitely close up there, especially as a partnership. If you are not a fan of Will Ferrell, this won't win you over. But if you are a fan, well, I'm sure you've probably already seen it. It's hilarious. Gangster Squad. Ryan Gosling, a list has been done on some Ryan Gosling films, my personal top 10 list. This was in there. It was unfortunately a bit lower on the spectrum, but very stylistic, beautiful to look at, just not much substance. But Blu-ray, I'm happy to own it, and I will definitely check it out again. Maybe I'll enjoy it more that time. A movie that I just watched recently with the girlfriend, and a movie that she normally wouldn't enjoy, but I says, look, you're going to enjoy it, and she did. District 9. Beautiful sci-fi film. And I mean, this was done in 2009, and it holds up unbelievably well. Fantastic story, and quite sad. If that was to happen to you, I'd be quite distraught. District 9, on the big telly, well worth it. We have The Big Lebowski. Jeff Bridges was, again, born to be this role. You rarely get situations where actors and characters just merge so amazingly well, and there's only one person who ever could play that role. This is definitely one of those films. Such an amazing supporting cast with John Goodman and Steve Buscemi. It's an absolutely wild ride, and I don't even actually think it's quite coherent or makes any sense whatsoever. But the characters are just hilarious to watch, and you're just along for the ride, basically, understanding that it's pretty wacky. I love the bowling character in this. Jesus, just hilarious. A Pixar movie that not many people appreciate, in my opinion, as much as they should, Cars. I have this lovely steel book, and this is a movie, again, that I can truly just pop on whenever. I mean, I went through a phase when it first came out and I first watched it. I had it on DVD, I think, at the time, and I mean, I just watched it about 4 or 5 times, relatively one after the other. An amazing supporting cast. It really helps when you've got such amazing voice actors. Die Hard 4, the only reason I've actually still got this, to be honest, is because if I do go and trade it in, I believe I get like 1 pence for it. So I don't know, I probably suppose I'd rather have it. Yeah, it's most certainly not the worst, but it's not the best. It's certainly fair to say. No, not that really. Spectre, James Bond. Daniel Craig, my favourite James Bond. I haven't actually seen the originals, to be honest. The only James Bonds I have seen, apart from Daniel Craig's, is Pierce Brosnan. But I do personally prefer Daniel Craig's James Bond. It's just more my style. I like the darker, the more realistic. Spectre, it wasn't all too bad, I suppose. Skyfall's probably the best, if not Casino Royale. Yeah, I mean, I'll check them out sometime. A movie that just recently got mentioned, at least at the time of filming this video, from Mike, Did You See That? Livestream, was A Walk Among the Tombstones. This movie is dark stuff. Much more so than Taken. It's very much along the same kind of lines, but Liam Neeson is very much on form, and as I say, if you really enjoy dark, dirty, grimy films that make you feel like filth after, like me, this one is a must watch. I mean, it gets dark. I'm telling you, the first 10 minutes, I believe, when they find some stuff in bags, yeah, you know what you're getting into, we'll say that. And, well, believe it or not, there is one movie left, and it's a 4K. What is it? It's a beautiful steelbook, and a really rather good film that over the time I do find a lot more appreciation for. Well, that is Batman vs Superman from the legendary Zack Snyder. It's a beautiful steelbook, and I'm very happy to own this. As I say, a lot of people do not enjoy the film, or again, I just think it gets a lot more hate. It's one of those movies where it's cool to hate Batman vs Superman. It's not fantastic by any means, but it is so beautifully shot. I love the Batman in this. Ben Affleck is my personal favourite Batman, very highly controversial, but I just think it's really quite good. And of course, the Ultimate Edition is what this is, and it is basically the only way to watch the film. It's most certainly superior. It's a long one, much like pretty much anything Zack Snyder does, but well worth your time, some amazing sequences, and yeah, well, that's basically all my physical media. There's not too many, but I think it's a reasonable collection. As I say, 99% of the movies are films that I could easily just pop on at any time. If for whatever reason the internet's down, I've got these sweethearts here. And yeah, certainly more to be collected, that goes without saying. But well, stay tuned for what those movies will be. Let me know what is your favourite film in your collection and how long have you been doing it for yourself. Thank you for watching, and check out these videos that YouTube believes you'll enjoy. They're really fun times.